they've proven what Kirby is doing works. That's from our What We're Hearing, which was released over on Dog Post to premium subscribers on Wednesday. This is one of the best reasons to sign up for the site is our insider reports and our What We Were Hearings. These are things you can't get from other folks out there. It really distinguishes us separates us from everybody else that covers the team. But one insider we were talking to with really acute understanding of not just recruiting at Georgia, but just a lot of stuff in Gwinnett County, had this quote, and I'll put it up on the screen in a second here. Here we go. It says, if Florida State ever plays Georgia, KJ talking about, so they were talking about KJ Bolden, who picked Florida State over Georgia and Auburn. It said if Florida State ever plays Georgia, KJ is going to be looking at the Georgia sideline and all those first round players across the field, and he's going to miss out playing with. Oh, and that sideline full of first rounders is going to do all they can to stop him, the insider said. For the life of me, I cannot understand someone not picking Georgia right now, considering all the success they've had during the year and with the draft. They've proven what Kirby is doing works. So that's in our What We're Hearing over on the website. It's a great time to sign up to Dog Post right now. Here's why. Not only do you get our insider reports and stuff like What We're Hearing, I'm giving you our 2023 preview for free when you sign up to the link down below. That's not all. You get a free t-shirt from Red Zone. You get 20% off any item in the store at Red Zone. Any item. It can be, this hat. It can be the ugly Christmas sweatshirts I've got, the Vince Dooley hat from '84. And in addition, if there's a lot of y'all have ordered double dogs, if you sign up to the site, I will give you and you've bought double dogs, I will give you September for free. So hustle up, or I'll give you a month for free. Hustle up and get going. This is not going to last forever. We're going to run out of the magazine soon. But I think when you start talking to people about what's going on at Georgia, because when you're talking off the record and you're not attributing it to someone, of course they're more free. They talk more freely, clearly, and there is a lot of optimism, or I think using the term certainty is wrong. There's a lot of confidence about this season coming up. I think they know what they've got. I think they think they're good, but we're going to have to see. And there was a lot of confidence last season as well. To be honest with you, I don't know if everybody remembers that or not, but it was certainly there. And I think with this team right now, you've got a lot of the moving parts that you need. Here's our insider fall practice observation that Ryan had at practice the other day. And there's so much going on right now at Georgia that makes them really a very confident bunch. I think the number one thing, and this is something Mike Bobo has said for a while, but certainly I noticed it lately, is it's not the plays, it's the players. That's another way to say, it's the Jimmies and Joes. Man, it's always been the Jimmies and Joes. If you play sports at all, it's Jimmies and Joes. Yeah, you can scheme and you can, discipline matters a lot. That matters so much. But you'd rather be disciplined with a bunch of real Jimmies and Joes than, Pauls, for lack of a better term. It matters a lot, and these guys got a lot of Jimmies and Joes. So does Alabama, but they're missing their biggest Jimmy, which is the starting quarterback. We already know what that's probably going to be at Georgia. When you look at Ohio State replacing a quarterback, they're not quite in the same position that Georgia Alabama is, but I think that Ohio State's having to change some things. Michigan does not. So, in a way, Michigan and then Georgia and Ohio State and then Alabama are coming into this season in different quarterback situations. It's not all the quarterback. It's not any one player. It's not. But when you've got quarterback figured out, for lack of a better term, there's so much else you can do. I mean, Kirby was talking about this the other day after the scrimmage. He was saying, let me get the quote exactly right, because he was talking about the running backs, and so here's the quote. He said, "We've got the backs we've got, and there's ways to be creative around your running backs and use the skill players you have." He's not saying that they're not really in good position with running backs. They're okay. They're just missing a couple guys that I think would, in a perfect world, like to have. But there's other ways to run the ball besides handing it off. I mean, you can get the ball out in the flats. It's not a handoff, but you can get the ball out in the flats to, Edwards and Paul. Lately, it sounds like Andrew Paul has had a good little bit, or at least people are noticing him more, maybe is the way to put it. But I think that he's another, there's just so many bullets in the chamber for these guys in this program that, they don't need Kendall Milton to come in and be an All-American. They don't need Deshaun Edwards to be an All-American. It's the sum of the parts that are so, really good right now. And, and what we're hearing, that's a lot of, nobody that I talked to about the scrimmage or the practice, we want to call it. No one was like blown away with the scrimmage. That was not, that was not the view of the world. It was not, they did not feel that way about it. They thought it was a really good team. And particular guys were being, targeted for coaching. When you talk to folks off the record, now they might not want it to come off that they're confident, but it seems like that to me. I remember after the SEC championship game, sort of building towards the Michigan game, that you could feel something similar to that. Now that was an older team, and this team's not young. I mean, it's got 28 upperclassmen. That in today's world, that is not a young team. Those are teams that are older. Much of college football is young or new. Georgia's not really in that ballpark, but a couple of those upperclassmen, Rara and Dominic Lovett, they are upperclassmen, so they're in that group. So 26 guys return who are upperclassmen at Georgia and have been there the entire time. So, like Tate Ratledge, this is not new for Tate Ratledge. This is not 21. Same thing, with Austin Blaskey. Brock Bowers, obviously, Meeks, Arian Smith. I mean, they got some guys on this team now. Now, there's no George Pickens. There's no, the best player is Bowers. I don't necessarily disagree with ESPN's assessment that by the end of the season, Mikal Williams will be a star. I also think Malachi Starks. I mean, they're just a lot of people, y'all. I mean, it's hard for me to mention Williams and then you start talking about Starks and you ignore the linebackers, the middle linebackers. I mean, they have players. The defense has All-American candidates at all levels. They probably have a first-team SEC player at every single level. And that adds up, And then you look at, I mentioned Tate earlier. You got Tate. These guys have played for a while. Tate, Van Pran, Truss. Those guys have been around the block for a while. And then, of course, Mims, he was blessed. He was fortunate. He was, he should be a first-round guy. But from left to right, It's been Ernest Green, Truss, Van Pran, Tate Ratledge, and then Amarius Mims. After that, it's been Blasky at left tackle, Micah Morris, Jared Davis, Dylan Fairchild, and Chad Lindbergh. So Kirby's saying they got maybe 7 to 8 guys on that offensive line. They did not have a great scrimmage. But look, anyway, back to what we were hearing part of this thing. This is a group that, I think there should be some optimism coming into this season. No one feels bad for Georgia. No one, has skepticism about what they can accomplish. These guys are going for the 3rd national championship in a row. It's totally possible. It may even be probable or more probable than anyone else. But there's a way to do this. And Kirby has felt that way certainly since 17. Okay? I think 2016 was sort of an exploratory time for him. But certainly since 17, he's felt like there's a way to do this. And there is a way to do it. I don't always agree with everything he does, but he doesn't report to me, right? So, but there is a way to do this, and they are doing it. And that's the scary part for college football.